this is video number 3 in the van build series. This will be the beginning of our subflooring. And we went to Home Depot yesterday and we got all this wood right here. It's 1x2, 8-foot long pieces, and they came in a pack of 15. So we just figured we are probably going to end up needing it along the build anyway if we don't use it all for the subfloor. So we got a pack of those, and then we got the PL Marine adhesive sealant. That's what we're going to use to attach these furring strips to the floor. And then we got this caulking gun, right? That's what it's called. So we got a caulking gun for this to make it easier to cut out. And so, yeah, that's what we got yesterday. I have a pencil and
tape measure.
I have a pencil and a tape measure, and I'm gonna start measuring out all of these furring strips into a grid-like pattern, and I'll get more into that.
Still working on the organization of the project.
Yeah, so I'll talk more about the grid and how we're measuring everything out and our whole layout plan once we get into it, but right now we're just gonna cut to a time lapse of lots of measuring. Okay, so we had to take a short break from doing the subflooring earlier today because it started raining, and it's actually raining again now when we came back to work on it. But we're doing it anyway. It's kind of stopping now. It was just pouring. But we finished cutting out all the pieces that we need of the furring strips for the subfloor, and I think we're good to start using the marine adhesive to attach them down. So this is kind of what it looks like from standing by the driver's door. So we started by putting all of these 5 main strips down, 2 back there. This one, oh wait, don't delete this. What the furring strips look like from standing by the driver's side. So we started by measuring out 5 strips, this being the first one, this one right here, this one, and then the very back one. And then we measured the ones in between them right here, and then we made these ones. So they're a little less than 4 feet long, these ones in between all of them, because we're gonna put the 4-inch or 4-foot plywood right here. So we wanted to measure them out. So as you go every 2 kind of blocks, then it would be another set of plywood. So we won't have to worry about measuring. Alright, so this is the little grid I made basically. So as I was saying before, I started by doing these 5 main lines. So I measured them out on the furring strips and then gave them to Lloyd. He cut them out, and then we went with these pink ones in the middle, and then we finished with doing these smaller 4 pieces in between these 3 main sections. So in between here are all 4 feet, or the 4-foot board is going to lay halfway in between this furring strip and that furring strip, so we have secure attachment points for all of the boards. And then we wanted to make sure to do a grid-like structure, because then the plywood is for sure going to be nice and secure. And then we also have the potential to be able to use these first furring strips to also drill into when we're making our cabinets or any other type of storage that we may need to drill into the floor. When I was first doing all the measuring, this is what my first grid looked like, super messy. I don't even know how I was able to read it. But thankfully I was able to understand it and tell Lloyd what I was looking for. But everything I redid nicely on here, so it's all labeled. So I labeled these first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then these middle ones I did 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, because those were the first ones I did, and then I did these 2 other ones after them, because I wanted to make sure that the middle was done correctly before I started doing the sides. So that's why it's labeled 1B, 1C, and then so on. And then all these middle pieces, I just labeled them with just a letter because it was just easier and we just wanted to get it out of the way. But now, in future reference, whenever we want to make sure where we're going to be screwing, if it's going to be going into a furring strip or if it's going to be not going into a furring strip, we can just look back at this and look at the measurements and see where everything is. And I just used 4 different colored markers, pens, and then a pencil.
On the dashboard, please.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about you. So just looks like the range is stopped, so Lloyd is going to go grab the marine adhesive, some acetone, paper towels, and the caulk gun, and we're going to start putting these strips down. Another thing that I forgot to mention is in that middle row, you see at the bottom there how it has ×2 on all those middle ones. In this middle section right here, it goes down a little bit farther than we'd like to because we put all of the furring strips on top of these grooves right here, but right on these middle ones it lays deeper in the middle, so we actually doubled up the furring strips right here. So we're going to screw these together with the screws that we just got at Home Depot. Let's look at those. So we got 2 bags of these number 8 1.25" screws, and that's what we're going to use to attach this whole middle, the 2 boards together. And then we also got a pretty big bottle of wood glue to give it an extra secureness. I have one of them done here. This one, the first one has a little lip to it, so that's why they're not on the same level, but this section is the same exact length, so Lloyd is going to do the glue. Kind of liberally, but not too much because we want to make sure that it doesn't ooze over the edges and actually dries. Sweet. So now we're going to place it on top. Make sure it matches up perfectly. Great, now we're going to use these clamps to clamp them down together so it's easier to screw them together so they're not moving around. The screws, so we're going to just do one in the middle. Make sure it's nice and flush with the board. And then we're going to do one on each end. So 3 total in the almost 4-foot boards. Our last board right here, this is just the smallest one, so we're only putting 2 of the screws in it.
I'm gonna go up.
Okay.
This is too short. This has got a flush right there.
Oh, because you put too much caulk in the beginning there.
I thought it was going all the way.
Nope, that's the
Other one, yep.
opening.
Good.
Got this first 4-foot section done here. With the marine adhesive, we're just weighing all the intersections down with gallons of water. Lloyd has lots of water ready, so we're using that for most of our weights. We have some set of weights here, and then we're going to find some other miscellaneous things in the garage to help weigh everything down. From a different angle, you can see that we've got that first 4-foot plywood section done. Lloyd's about 3/4 of the way done with the second section. We're doing all the bigger pieces first and then filling in with all the small divider pieces. So it's actually going pretty well. How you doing, Lloyd? How do you think it's going?
Making progress. Once this is in, we can really start building in here, so
Yeah.
putting in the framework.
I think we're getting in the groove of cleaning, using the adhesive, placing it, putting weights. I don't know. I feel like we're getting in kind of a little dance going on here.
Yeah, the second half will be faster than the first.
Yeah. So we're actually getting the hang of things, and it's going a lot faster. Not as frustrating as in the beginning when we were trying to get everything working, but
And it's not raining, so that's good.
yeah, it's not raining anymore, so that's great. Looks pretty nice outside, so hopefully we'll get it done by dinner time. Okay, so we officially finished putting in the furring strips, the base of the subfloor, and we have it weighted down with a bunch of different heavy objects. Lots of water jugs that Lloyd had on standby, so that's awesome. So we're going to let that sit for at least 24 hours, and then the next step, we just have to wait for the wool to come in. We did end up ordering Havelock wool, so the next video will be installing that and finishing the subfloor. So next time you'll see us, that's what we'll be doing. Alright, see you in the next video!